In this video, I'm going to explain to you why Pulse X, when it's all said and done, is just absolutely going to moon because of its secret weapon. It has 4 unique different features compared to other exchanges out there, DEXs that is, but this one in particular, I like to call it its secret weapon, and I do see this particular feature making Pulse X moon. So without further ado, let's go bank that coin. Francis Dune, Uncensored. Welcome back to yet another video. If you're new here, my name is Francis Dune, and on Francis Dune Uncensored, we give you guys the content that you need to hear, and not so much the content that you want to hear. We like to position you guys for success by delivering facts, and this video is no different. So if that sounds interesting to you, do subscribe and hit the bell notification button while you're at it, and let's get right on with the show. So I'm telling you guys, man, Pulse X will moon. You see, Pulse X is very different to your average decentralized exchange, and you know, it has a few secret weapons up its sleeve and is just dying to really flex those muscles. For one, there will never be any more Pulse X tokens mined or produced. So just think of that for a minute. There's never going to be any more Pulse X tokens ever mined, produced, or even staked for that matter. So the only way for you to really obtain them is to actually buy them. Whether that's from a centralized exchange when it gets listed at launch, or even from the Pulse X decentralized exchange itself. But the main secret weapon is this. Every transaction on this exchange is used to buy and burn Pulse X tokens, also known as the buy and burn feature. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, Pulse X is a fork of Uniswap, but in no way, shape, or form does that mean it actually operates like Uniswap or is identical to Uniswap, because its patent buy and burn mechanism allows the Pulse X cryptocurrency to maintain a demand and supply ratio in favor of the price increase over time, which I'm about to explain to you very carefully. So, a percent of the transaction fee, roughly 21 to 22% of each trade, will be used to buy back Pulse X tokens, then burn them. This is derived and facilitated in a decentralized and autonomous manner, which in turn should decrease the supply while increasing the demand. Now, what do I mean? For example, if I was to import some shirts from China and it had a really cool design on it, and I have my storefront where I'm selling these t-shirts, and let's just say I ordered 100 units, and those 100 units were sold out, and then I had to order some more shirts. I keep on placing and manufacturing new shirts. It doesn't really bring as much value, or let's just say demand, opposed to if I only had a limited supply that keeps on going down, but that same supply is needed in this market. That's what's going to really drive the price up with these t-shirts. Well, the same is true with this buy and burn mechanism that Richard Heart has created with Pulse X. It surely will drive demand much faster than it would later by having it actually burnt. Moving on. So there will also be a very nominal fee on Pulse X, which is set at 0.29% per trade. This is a much lower trading fees in comparison to any one of its competitors that resides on the Ethereum network. So it's the cheapest trading fee across the board. If you're a Pulse X LP provider, you would actually get 76.5% of these fees. Remember, 21% of 0.29% will be burned since each trade is subjected to a 0.29% fee. But this type of game theory is actually utilized for every single trade. So the increase in trades will also increase the burning of more Pulse X tokens. What actually makes this truly unique is there's no reproduction, creating, or rather, should I just say minting of new Pulse X tokens ever. In theory now, this means the total supply is already set and capped in circulation without any new tokens entering the circulating supply. So what's circulating on day one or at launch is literally the most supply you'll ever see circulating when it comes to Pulse X. And as the exchange gets used more and more, so for example on day 2, and day 5, day 10, day 15, month 2, month 5, so on and so forth, you really see the buy and burn mechanism kick into effect. And that can only mean one thing. The supply goes down, which then means the price goes up. So in other words, new Pulse X tokens can never be mined or minted. As a matter of fact, it's quite the opposite. Pulse X tokens can only be burnt and taken out of the circulating supply forever, making this cryptocurrency immensely deflationary in nature. I mean, you can mine or stake Pulse Chain, but you cannot do this with Pulse X. Again, I gotta repeat this. If there's no way to produce Pulse X or to mint Pulse X, so anyone who wants to get them some Pulse X, well, there's only one way to go about doing that, and that's to buy it from someone. Let's say like a liquidity provider of the Pulse X exchange, which then automatically deducts 21 to 22% of the trading fees worth of Pulse X and then burns that amount of the token forever out of the circulating supply. Let's say there were about 10 million Pulse X tokens in the total supply. This is just an example, it's not the actual figure, but since there will never ever be any more Pulse X tokens created, that already brings it value to this unique cryptocurrency. Now, when you combine that and add the burn feature on top of that, well boy, let me tell you, now we start cooking with oil. This really starts to kick in over time in terms of the price increase, which we can then expect to see the supply decrease due to the secret weapon known as the buy and burn feature. Normally you see other cryptocurrencies actually increase in circulation over time, but not with Pulse X. So if we look at major cryptocurrencies like, say, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Stacks, etc., they always have a new token being mined or entering into the circulating supply, which offsets the deflationary benefit that Pulse X has, making those cryptocurrencies, one could argue, inflationary over time in comparison to Pulse X. But Pulse X not only has this advantage over the more commonly used blockchains I just mentioned, but it also has low fees, faster transactions, and seamlessly will be able to merge to other blockchains or protocols. So if you're an entrepreneur like myself, or perhaps you're just a developer, that's cool too, you can create things on Pulse Chain and still be able to connect with other protocols on blockchains. So, we're talking essentially about bridges over here, and these bridges will potentially provide liquidity on the Pulse X exchange, which should have a direct positive impact on PRC20 tokens. Now, there's another weapon that Pulse X actually has, which is its harvesting feature. This means Pulse X will be able to yield liquidity or harvest it from decentralized exchanges on Ethereum, not limited to only Uniswap. So, you could think of other DEXs on the Ethereum network, such as Curve, we got IDEX, we also have SushiSwap, just to name a few. This is a massive selling point and first of its kind and very attractive for users on Pulse X because it should give an instant and constant pool of liquidity that can be used to trade with guaranteed liquidity from the start. Normally, a new DEX will take a bit of time for its various pools to gain traction in regards to liquidity providers, but Pulse X seems to have all of this covered. So to sum it all up, it's safe to say liquidity from Uniswap and other DEXs on Ethereum will be remade or recreated in the form of PRC20 tokens, copying the well-known pairings from the likes of Uniswap. Pulse X is indeed a fork of Uniswap, but in no way does it really operate like Uniswap. It's far more unique and special than that. Pulse X will be harvesting Uniswap's liquidity pools, converting popular pairings of ERC20 tokens on Uniswap in the form of PRC20 token pairings on Pulse X, which will add instant liquidity while having lower trading fees than Ethereum-based DEXs and much faster transactions per second that takes about 21 to 22% of Pulse X, which will buy and burn the token that can never be mined or produced due to already capped supply of Pulse X, making it deflationary over time, increasing the demand while reducing the supply. And for all those reasons, I truly believe we got a freaking moonshot in the making right here, baby. But hey, let me know what you all think about this video in the comment section, and let me know, do you agree with me? Is Pulse X on the verge of just absolutely mooning in due time? I'd love to hear from you guys. So you know what? There ain't really much left to say other than, till the next video, you're on your own. Later. Francis Dune, Uncensored.